Yo. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Freedom marchers, freedom family, freedom lovers and freedom fighters. Snapzilla Gorillas in the building. Hollering at y'all with this, hitting y'all upside the head with this morning paper. On this Wednesday, October 29th of 2025, y'all. Hope you guys are having a great hump day, as they call it. You know what I mean? So, in today's morning paper, we're going to be talking about Israel. You know what I mean? We're going to be talking about Israel launching strikes, in Gaza, in Rafah. You know what I mean? And of course, they are justifying it by saying that, of course, they're saying Hamas is not, obeying the ceasefire, not rocking with the ceasefire as they should. And we know when this started, right? You guys are having a great day. Now, of course, Israel is going to blame Hamas. They're going to blame the Palestinians. They're going to do this and they're going to do that. When we know that Israel never held up their end of the ceasefire to begin with, right? So the ceasefire started on a Friday, and they have already killed people by Sunday. They were already killing Palestinians by Sunday. Even when the ceasefire was announced, they were attacking people with tanks, okay? They never upheld their end of the ceasefire to begin with, right? Stop focusing on the people, focus on the problems here. If you don't understand, number one, let's get one thing straight. You're not going to come in here and tell me what to focus on. Well, you can, but all right, that's number one. Number two, if you don't see how what's going on over there isn't affecting us over here, then that's very sad that you have that point of view. It's I don't understand it. And so if you don't understand how that affects us here, then we got a lot of problems. We got bigger problems than what I'm focusing on. You understand what I'm talking about? Because we are intrinsically tied to Israel. We are intrinsically tied to Israel. Israel is carrying out the agenda of their relationship with the United States. You understand? And the other five nations. We can't control that. Well, that is where you're patently wrong. You're wrong about that. You see, we can control it. We just choose not to, right? We choose to turn a blind eye to it because we're like, well, that's happening over there. It ain't affecting us over here. When it is affecting us over here. Anarchy Television says, I think we can't control it. Yes. We can stop funding Israel and stop sending them weapons. This is the only way they're able to do what they do. And when they attacked Iran, Iran responded kicking their ass. Yeah. Iran was whooping on their ass. They're not going to tell you that. But Iran was giving them the business. Until we stepped in and dropped bunker busters in their country. If we had not stepped in, that war would have lasted longer than 12 days. Respectfully, Rowdy, you're patently wrong. We can't control it. You know what? You know how we control it? By taking our power back from the United States government. We take our power back. There are ways to do it. I refuse to live in the mind state that you live in where, we just got to sit back and accept shit. No. You're on the wrong channel. You in the wrong spot, homie. Over here, Over here, we talk about solutions. We have solutions to the problems. Not the solutions that they present to us, but solutions that we come up with on our own. We brainstorm, we talk about things, we have conversations. We talk about reality. We talk about if one goal is realistic or not, or an avenue to reach a goal is realistic. This is what we do on this channel. I don't just tell you guys this shit just to tell y'all. No, I give you guys, look, I'm showing you where the problems are, and it's right there in your fucking face. It's right there in your faces. And the solutions are within us. We hold the keys to the kingdom, y'all. We hold the keys to the kingdom. We just allow them to use the keys to unlock the things that they want to unlock. When we should be using the keys to unlock the chains that we have shackled to us. Yeah. And a lot of it takes sacrifice. A lot of it takes putting yourself at risk. A lot of it's dangerous. And you had that understanding, then you know how to move. You know how to move. No, I'm not Sagittarius. I'm not Sagittarius at all. I'm Aquarius. I'm an Aquarius. The problem is this mentality that we can't do anything. The problem is that we believe that the only way we can do something is if we vote and sit back and think and hope that these motherfuckers do the right thing once we vote for them. Gandaria says the kingdom is filthy. God won't change your state until you change yourselves. Well, exactly. Yeah, well, if you're religious or not, whether you believe in God or not, you know, that's what, right? You can't beat, this whole thing about God won't help you unless you help yourself, or whatever the case may be. The answers are right there. We hold the goddamn keys. We just have to understand that and realize that. We have to get out of this mind state that we have to use their fucking system to get where we need to go. It's not going to work like that. It's not going to work like that. Hold on, y'all. Something's messing up. Hold on. I should be back, y'all. Give me a Romeo, Lima, Charlie if I'm back in the building. Yeah, so yeah, listen, Israel, I appreciate that. Thank you, Anarchy Television. Sometimes you gotta refresh this shit. What's my favorite Stevie Wonder song? Man, Ribbon in the Sky, I think. Ribbon in the Sky. Yep. That is my favorite Stevie Wonder song. Ribbon in the sky. Ribbon in the sky. There's a ribbon in the sky for all love. I love that song. That shit, that's my shit. You know what I mean? That's when music was music, when singing was singing, when R&B was R&B, when crooning was crooning. Now it's just whatever. It is what it is. The bottom line is this. Donald Trump and these other Arabic nations, they structured a peace deal, right? And, you know, Israel was supposed to agree to it. Hamas was supposed to agree to it. I don't think Israel signed the peace deal. I'm not sure if Palestine or Hamas signed the peace deal, but the bottom line is this. There was never any peace, right? They keep talking about these hard lines, right? That's what Israel keeps talking about. These hard lines. This is how they justify killing more people in Gaza. They talk about this yellow line, right? This imaginary line that they drew. They took 53%, right, in the peace deal. Now, you know, in the peace deal, the first few days, they were supposed to pull back to 53% of the Gaza Strip, right? 53%. They control 53%, but over time they're supposed to go back, right? But they're not doing that, right? They keep talking about, oh, they're crossing these yellow lines, right? And understand this. Benjamin Nosferatu wants the West Bank. Donald Trump does not want Israel to take the West Bank. Why? Because eventually the United States wants to own the West Bank for their resort bullshit. It's part of the great trust that I told you guys about. So the conflict is not about the headbutting between Israel and the United States is not about keeping the Palestinians safe and not kill. No, it's not about that. Right? The whole reason behind this board of peace, the whole reason behind having these troops come in and making sure that the peace deal is being held up, the ceasefire, is to ensure that the investment in the West Bank is secured for the United States takeover. See, what they want to do is they want to install this puppet government in Gaza so that they can have their way. They want to rebuild Gaza in the image of United States tourism. This is the goal, right? Well, Benjamin Nosferatu in Israel, well, they don't want that. They want to have control of the whole goddamn thing. They want the whole shooting match. They want the whole thing. They don't want any U.S. involvement. They don't want any U.S. control over this. And so this is what the deal is, right? This is what they're butting heads about. This is why the other day, over this last weekend, Israel, they had a vote, right? That I was supposed to talk about that in another live stream about how while Marco Rubio was in Israel, they had a vote, right? The Israeli government had a vote to take over the West Bank, to annex the West Bank. And I accidentally clicked the wrong live stream and started talking about some other shit, right? I clicked that live stream and started talking about what's going on in Argentina. So it got all twisted up and fucked up. But the bottom line is, they announced that they wanted to take over the West Bank. They announced that they wanted to annex they've been wanting to do this. They voted to annex the West Bank in Israel, right? And Marco Rubio was like, nah, this is just a symbolic vote. Or not Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance said, oh, well, this is just a symbolic vote. It's weird that they did that and all this other shit. Oh, that was weird. I'm told it was a symbolic vote. It's not a symbolic vote to say that you want to take over a whole entire country. That voting to take over a country is not symbolic. Benjamin Nosferatu made it clear that he will not be told what to do and pushed around and all that in regards to, listen, they don't give a shit about any peace deal. They don't care about no ceasefire. They don't care about no goddamn board of peace. They don't care about any of that. They allowed this so-called ceasefire to be pinned, and this board of peace to be structured and created just to appease the United States government for a minute and give them an impression that they're willing to play ball. But at the end of the day, no. They don't want to play ball. No. Israel, Benjamin Nosferatu, they do not want to play ball. They want to annex the West Bank. They want to take over the entire... Listen, they have their agenda. They have their agenda. They don't want to share control. So this is what this is about. These strikes in Gaza is to show you can't tell us what to do. When in reality, they should be sat their ass down. Their ass should be sat down, right? They should be spanked terribly. And how do you spank them? One guy in the chat said, "Oh, you can't control that." Yeah, you can. You remove funding. Stop funding Israel. Stop taking their, pull all your resources that they have access to. Get them shits out of Israel. They can't do anything without us. That's the bottom line to it. But see, what they have done over the decades is they have infiltrated the government, they have infiltrated the military, they have infiltrated the banking system, they have infiltrated many, many structures that the United States up, right? This is what they have done. And so they have been able to have reigns of control, right, through Zionism. Because understand, Zionism is not just about the small hat. No. Islam is the problem? No, it's not. If Islam is the problem, so is Christianity. If Christianity is the problem, so is Catholicism. If Catholicism is the problem, then so is every other religion. What? You just want to, it's just about Israel. No, Islam. No, it's not about Islam at all. It's about power-hungry motherfuckers that don't want to give up power. They are greedy, and they do not believe in freedom of the people that they hold subject. You understand? They're subjects. No. There are subjects. They shouldn't be pushing back and revolting and having independent thought and none of that shit. No, the Zionist agenda is to bring about the apocalypse so that they can have control, right? The meek shall inherit the earth. They think they will inherit the earth after the fucking Armageddon or after the end of times. They think, the chosen people will rise up and we will inherit the earth and we will control everything. This is what they believe, y'all. And so they are destructive. They are a destructive force. And that is the whole thing behind them. The whole thing behind it is destruction. Bring about destruction so that we can rebuild in our image and do what we want to do. This is the whole agenda. They don't care. They don't have allies. They use people. They don't believe in alliances. Either you rocking with them or you not. And if you rocking with them, you on board with what they got going on. You're no longer an ally. You are now part of their squad. You're not an ally anymore. You're just them. There is no in between. There is no independent thinking. Salute to Queen Mother Shaquila in the building. Salute to you. Salute to the Queen Mother up in the building. Of the people, by the people, and for the people is the theory. It's not a theory, y'all. It's not a theory. The government doesn't exist without our compliance and without our consent. We gave up consent. Well, our parents gave up our consent when we were born, and when they got us Social Security cards and birth certificates, they gave our consent. They gave consent on our behalf to the government. Salute to Marcy T. Prayer War in the building. This is what happened. This is why we're in the position we're in, because long time ago, we gave consent to be governed. It was kind of foisted on us. It was presented to us like something that we needed. Oh, we need to create this central government so that the colonies can work together to protect the nation from tyranny. Except we brought the Trojan horse right into the motherfucking gates. That was the Trojan horse. The Constitution and centralizing the government. The Federalists, whether they knew this was going to happen or not, unbeknownst to them, they created a Trojan horse. And they brought that motherfucker in the United States. Trying to protect us from tyranny of a monarch, they created a central government where that monarchy turned into whatever you want to call it. That central government, those elite few that had control over the entire nation. Whether it's a monarch or a group of people or so-called representatives, It's the same shit. Islam is the Trojan horse? I don't think so. That's patently false. Yeah, that's false. Islam is not the Trojan horse. Religion in general is the Trojan horse. They use religion to initiate control. Yes, an oligarchy. Yes. Yeah, it's an oligarchy. Monarchy, oligarchy. Yes, it's the same shit, except where monarchy is like a king or queen, right? Who has fiat control over everything. They rule by fiat, right? So does our government. They rule by fiat. They just give us the impression that we have some say over it because they tell us to vote for the shit. Oh, go vote. Go vote for your ruler. And there's not going to be a difference. No, just because you vote for a ruler does not mean that you have not seated a ruler. That's what you have done. So it's not a question of whether or not your vote matters or your vote is powerful, because it's both. They matter and it's powerful, but not in the way you think. Marcy, the prayer warrior, says, Albert Pike letters use religion as a weapon against all religions to destroy all religions, to bring in pure Luciferian doctrine. United Nations, Blavatsky. Facts. You lost 2 grand uncles? Well, a lot of people lost a lot of people in a lot of wars. You're going to lose people in wars, right? Now, when it comes to world wars, yeah, you're going to lose a lot of people. And we are on the brink of a world war right now. Mercy T, prayer warrior, says, Jews, do you not realize red and blue makes purple? They're in it together. Yes. 32G Tim says, we get shit candidates to vote for because people listen to the ones who tell them their vote doesn't matter, like you're doing right now. Put a 1 in the chat if I said your vote doesn't matter. Put a 1 in the chat, y'all. This guy just told me I said vote doesn't matter. Put a 1 in the chat if I said that. Put a 2 in the chat if I said your vote does matter. I said your vote matters. I said your vote is powerful. Put a 2 in the chat if I said that. Because some of y'all have comprehension skills. It's very, very clear. I said your vote matters and is powerful, just not in the way you think or believe. Yes. That's what I said. And what blows my mind is how people understand that this left-right paradigm is bullshit, yet they'll still push the vote. Oh, well, we got to vote third party. Third party will never happen. You will never have a third party control over the House or the Senate. Never, ever, never. It will never happen. And if it does happen, well, they're just going to be bought by the same lobbies. They're going to be, listen, that's just how it's going to work. You vote third party, that third party, if it becomes large enough to have any control, any voting control, any majority to control in the House or the Senate, they will be bought by the same motherfuckers that bought the left and the right, that bought the conservative and the liberals. Period. Somebody said, RMS says that, he says, I have some crazy info that I found out yesterday. All right, what's that? Yeah, self-reliance is the way. Yeah, that's what they want. They want you to own nothing and be happy. Why do you think they're pricing everything out, y'all? They're pricing everything out. All this, right? They want to listen. At some point, you might have to choose between whether or not you're going to pay rent or feed your family, or pay mortgage or feed your family. And when you choose feeding your family over paying your mortgage, you will end up losing your house. And then you will rent from BlackRock for hella cheap. Right? No. You won't get together with other people and say, let's pool our money together, buy some land, and put some tiny homes on this motherfucker. And homestead. No. They want you to buy. They want you to rent from them for your entire life. They don't want you to own anything. Oh, and like I said, the rent will be relatively cheap, y'all. Yeah. Your rent will be cheap. But you will have no ownership. You will have no sovereignty whatsoever. At all. At all. No. You won't be able to put up Christmas ornaments because they'll say, well, it offends your neighbors who are not Christian. You won't be able to put up Halloween decorations because they'll say, oh, it's offensive to that Christian. They think you're summoning demons. You won't be able to do shit. You will have no identity. This is the plan. You're 55 and just not own your home? Well, congratulations. I'm glad you finally do own it. My Donnie is a Trojan horse. He might be. Listen. Mom Donnie is not going to be any different than any other politician. He has to be just like every other politician. If you run for any of these seats, or you run for any mayoralship or governorship, if you run for president, if you do things their way, because you have to, right? You got to follow their rules. You got to go follow their guidelines. You got to go do like every other president. You got to do it like every other representative, every other mayor. You can't deviate. You can't deviate. You got to go through the process. You got to go through their system. You want to make change? You got to go through their system. It's just the bottom line. It is what it is. Cost the whole family dying and husband to afford it. Damn. Sorry to hear that. What the F is happening? Politicians not on the reservation will be silenced. Well, yes. Yes. That's exactly how it happens. It's their system, y'all. I keep trying to tell y'all. And their system was designed for the elite class to have control over the majority, over the people, over the proletariat. Because what did they say? How did they come up with the electoral college? Y'all know how that started, right? Because they didn't want the majority, which were people like them, to have their way. No, they wanted the elite to be able to control the majority. So they came up with the electoral college. They said, oh, well, these people are too stupid. They'll vote stupidly if we allow them to do it this way. If we use a pure democracy for the presidential election, then they will not vote. Their votes will be towards their own interest. That's how they did it, right? They didn't want a certain amount of people to overwhelm this group of people in any given state. So if you use a majority vote, a pure democracy in that state, they said, well, it's not going to work out because it'll leave the others out in the cold and blah, blah, blah bullshit. So they said, okay, let's do an electoral college. Each district has a vote. So the majority of the people in that district gets that one vote. That's how they did that. Because in their minds, if you have a large concentration of people that live a certain way in this area, then you leave out the people that have a lesser population in other areas. That's how that came about. Mark C says, but then they went to town was 2020 after locking us up. Yeah. If the money leaves New York, the businesses leave. Well, right now the businesses are leaving, and so is the money. The businesses are leaving, and the money's going with it. The wealthy of New York are leaving New York, and they're taking their money with them. Yeah. New York is going to be having a lot of problems. Have been having a lot of problems. It is still mad expensive. I don't know how places like California or like New York City and LA, how they are able to operate with the ridiculous cost of living. It's out of control. Many people believe in the system. Rogue Infidel says, many still believe in the system that has been lost over a century. Yeah. Well, the system was lost when they created it, right? You'd think they would have learned their lesson from World War II, or from the Revolutionary War, when they were fighting off King George the Third, or whatever, the Eighth, or whatever the fuck he was. When they fought off King George's force and were able to gain their freedom, they had an opportunity right then and there. Even when they create those individual colonies, they had their independent sovereign shit going on. Good, bad, or indifferent. They fucked up when they said, let's get together, create a central government to control all this shit. When what they should have done was, the 13 colonies should have said, we don't need a central government to come together to protect this nation. No, we just work together. We had treaties and trade agreements, that's fine. And we'll have a standing military that will be equally controlled by each of the 13 colonies. We'll create a general for each colony that will work together to ensure that this nation is secure. That's where it should have ended. Right? And each governor, salute to Queen Mother Shaquila in the building. Thank you, Queen Mother Shaquila. I appreciate you. Dropping a heavy $10 in the building. Thank you, Queen. Thank you, Queen Mother. For the grind, she says, 10 toes down, marching for freedom. Truth. Absolutely. Every day. Every day. And this is why we end up in situations like we end up in right now with Israel. Right? Y'all think it's so far away from us. It's not far away from us, y'all. What's going on in Israel and Palestine is not far from us. R.I.P. Charlie Kirk says, get off YouTube. You too old. That's not what your mama said when I knocked her down last night. Yeah. That's not what your mama said last night. But don't worry about it. I got a lot of energy. Ask your mama. Anyway. So, how does it get out of control like this, y'all? How are we so entangled in all these foreign conflicts? How do we have all these bases all over the world? Why? Because the central government. Central governments do this. Salute to you, what the F is happening? I appreciate you for coming through. Mark C says, I mean, that is the stupidest comment I ever deleted. You're too old. Too old for what, butthole? Mark C, these people are crazy. Bottom line is that the central government has gotten us in this position, but yet here we just hang on and hang on and hang on. It's like, oh, we gotta do this. Oh, let's vote this guy in. Oh, we gotta get the third party in, and we gotta hit the, like, what? Y'all think y'all coming up with something new when y'all say shit like, well, we gotta put the right people in, and we gotta vote for that guy, we gotta go independent, we gotta hit third party. They've been trying this for centuries in this country. Decades. They have been trying the very thing that y'all are talking about. Oh, this system is corrupt and tyrannical. Let's use it to make it not corrupt and tyrannical. It make no fucking sense. When we have an awareness of how corrupt this system is, yet we still try to use it to make it not corrupt. It makes no fucking sense. Right, Marcy T? Oh, well, if you just go third party, well, if you just do this, just vote independent and just vote this and... Salute to Insane, Most Hated. Salute to you, brother. Am I good now? Give me a Romeo Lima Charlie. Yeah. when I put Israel in the title, it tends to make it a little wonky, y'all. And they disrupt a little bit when I talk about Israel. Yeah, they do a little disruption. Salute to you, Insane Talk. Yeah, they disrupt a little bit when I talk about Israel. But the bottom line is Israel can't do what they're doing unless we support them, right? But even though we're supporting them, even we try to put a little, all right, Israel, you need to chill the fuck out, right? Stop bombing, stop killing people. We have this greater agenda. We got this great trust. We want to rebuild Gaza, the West Bank in our image. We want to create this apartheid where we have all these little Palestinian workers coming in. Listen, you're fucking it up, Israel. We know what you want to do, but we can't let you do that. Well, Israel's like, fuck you. That's what's going on. Anarchy Television said, it's not we the people, America's responsibility to lead the world. No, it's not. Pascal Beauchamp says Israel is not a country. Well, no, it's not. But that's irrelevant, right? They don't care about none of that. They don't care about none of that. Nate Butcher says, no, but America's never supported genocide, which is what Israel's doing. Well, no one should be supporting genocide, right? But we are supporting the genocide because we continue to give them weapons. We continue to give them money. We are supporting a genocide because they're using our money to fund Israel's genocide. So we are supporting it. We're supporting it financially. At least our government is on our behalf. So when I say we are, yes, we are responsible. We gave money to Argentina. We gave money to Ukraine. We gave money to Israel. They use our fucking money to do it. It is what it is. And we sit back and we sit back and we ruminate and we talk about how to vote and we have to vote this way, wait until 2026. Oh, the midterms. Oh my God. Oh, we're going to really sweep. We're going to turn everything over. We're going to take control back in 2026. And the midterm elections, we're going to be sold. Yeah, it's going to be great. But we're working on their fucking time, and we're using their fucking methods, and we're using their system, and we're using their rules, we're using their guidelines to do what? And we think this is going to fucking work? Paul Bunyan says, our money, it was always their money. If you know, you know. No, it was always our money. No, it was our money. They take it from us. They extract and extort from us to fund the bullshit. It ain't their fucking money. And when you realize that, you wake the fuck up and say, hey, why is my money going to this shit? No motherfucking more. Then we'll get somewhere. Our motherfucking money, period. Anarchy Television says, to be clear, Israel's not an ally of the... No, it's not. No. It is what it is. This is the reality that we have to face. At this moment in time, we have to come to terms with the realities. They take our money. And they control us at the same time. They make us pay their salaries. They make us fund their lifestyles. They make us fund their agendas. And we have to sit back and shut the fuck up and wait 2 to 4 to 6 years to make changes? To get things right? It's never going to fucking happen. Paul Bunyan, at the end of the day, you say we handed it over to via the banks, it's still our money. You don't know Israel has intel with the U.S. Yes, I do know that. Springs Cyprus for us. I do know that. I know that. By the way, I still have to look in the Palantir. When you talk about Israel has intelligence with the U.S., they also have intelligence within the U.S., within the government, within the cyberspace that our government uses. D-Night says, all this talk about Israel, Palestine, what about the 500,000 Americans killed in Nigeria? Who killed 500,000 Christians in Nigeria? And when? I'm pretty sure a lot of these things that happen around the world is due to imperialism. It's due to this idea that we have to control and conquer every goddamn thing. Everything we see, we gotta have that. At the end of the day, it's that Zionist mind. It is that it's the imperialism that is causing all these problems. Exactly. Why is our wealth being stolen from us and given to Israel so they have free healthcare? And we don't even have that here in America. No, we don't. And now we're talking about SNAP benefits are likely going to be cut off in November. And they're both sides are playing games with this shutdown. Both sides. No matter what anybody tells you. This song and dance, this dog and pony show is orchestrated. It is a stage play. And of course, they want you to blame one side or the other, depending on what your ideology is, because what does that do? It maintains and perpetuates this division down here in the proletariat class. And it's frustrating, not really frustrating, but because I know, I understand how, whatever, it is what it is. I don't see how people don't understand this. It's an understanding that you have to have about how this world works and how they're using us to prop themselves up. They can't do it without us, but they have to keep us divided so that we are focusing on the wrong shit. The government shutdown, the funding, the lack of funding for programs, the cutting off of the Medicaid and the Medicare and all these different things. Neither side cares if that shit goes bye-bye. They have to pretend they care so that they can show y'all that there's a reason to vote for these motherfuckers. There's a reason to continue to put our faith in the system. Anarchy Television says if EBT and SNAP is being shut down, are taxes going to reduce or even reimbursed? No, they're not. No. Because let me tell you what's going to happen. When they reopen the government, the shit's going to be retroactively paid. The pay is going to be retroactive. So the troops that aren't getting paid, the government employees that aren't getting paid, all the SNAP benefits, all this shit, it's going to be retroactively paid back. It's just not going to happen during the shutdown, right? And now, are people not going to be able to buy food for whatever period? But when the shit comes back, yes. But when it comes back, it's going to be paid back retroactively. We're not getting that money back. The money's already there. This is a budget allocation situation. It's not, the money's there. It's just not, the things that need to be funded by this budget are not being funded because of the shutdown. But the money is there. The money is there. The money, they already took the money from us. When the government reopens, the money is going to go back. It's going to go to where it's supposed to go in the first place. Unless, because you know Donald Trump did some layoffs. So when those guys are going to come back to work. So yeah, that money is going to end up going somewhere else. Now what they've done was they increased the budget for the Department of War. They increased the war budget. Because I'm not calling it a defense budget no more. They increased the war budget, and so they're trying to pull from other things. The money is already there, right? It's just an argument over where the money is allocated to. We ain't getting that money back. Yeah, we ain't getting that money back. Where's the money? In the Treasury. The Treasury has the money. It's with the Treasury right now. It just hasn't been allocated. Government's getting ready to start telling people to get the mark. I mean, it may very well, yeah, they might be the case. And you're going to have to make a decision. This is why I left the cities, y'all. This is why I left the cities. I got out of the city for this very reason. Because worst come to worst, I can go hunt me some fucking deer and go fishing. And treat some water. Worst come to worst. It is what it is. Get out of the goddamn cities. We need to start buying land and start homesteading. Salute to Brittany said, coming through in the building. Salute to you. Good morning, Queen. Carolyn, salute to you this morning. Parents with children and homeless do work for SNAP. They'd had to work requirements to qualify to keep SNAP for years. Elders work. Yes, people work on SNAP. The hell? Yeah. People work on these government programs. They absolutely do. Absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, that's all I got for now, guys. I gotta get back to it. Yeah. And I'm gonna be bringing you guys more. I'm working on, now that I got a job working from home now. I work from home now, so I got more time to do more things. Carolyn says there's very limited freeloading. It's a long-held misbelief. It is. RR says not hard-working Americans' responsibility to keep funding and providing for people who are irresponsible. Not everybody on SNAP or EBT is irresponsible. Sometimes people get laid off. Sometimes family members die and they have to get their shit together. It is what it is. It's not, and I agree. The idea of relying on government to provide for you on hard times is a problem. But you don't need the government for the community to take care of its own people when they need it. It's not even going to be a thing. You have your small community. Everybody works together in harmony and they do things on the one accord as much as possible. It's not going to be perfect. It's not utopia, right? And everybody works towards the same end and they have the same thing going on and they have their own customs and culture. And everybody puts in their weight. Everybody puts in the work, unless you're not able-bodied. When a person gets sick or injured and they can't work for a while, no, the community pitches in. There's nothing wrong with that. Debo says, what time do you start? I usually start at 7:30 in the morning. Yes, hit the like button, y'all. Anarchy Television says, lucky you snap. I'm still trying to figure out what to do with myself. I would love to be able to work from home. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Being able to work from home and, I'm still in construction. I'm just now moving to the side of 3D modeling, right? Because there's a lot of A lot of these contracts now, a lot of these building contracts, these construction contracts and all that, they require 3D modeling before you even start building, right? Because they want to build the model. They want to build the structure in 3D so they can prevent clashes, and everybody knows what goes where, and it works out just great. Like I've worked on 3 projects where there was that going on, and it really does help. It helps out. Well, he says I'm speaking about outliers. I'm talking about the single woman with 6 kids who continues to have children. That's an outlier as well. Six kids. You know what the birth rates are now? You know what the birth rates are? 6 kids? It sounds like you're naming an average. An average of 6 kids being on women with 6 kids on food stamps. Is that? I'm gonna have to look that up, because now you're talking about 6 kids. I gotta look that up. It's not the responsibility of hardworking Americans to fund your lifestyle and bad choices. Personal responsibility is a problem. Well, I agree with that. Sure, I agree with that. But it's not. It's also not the hardworking. It's not the responsibility of hardworking Americans to fund Israel, to fund Argentina, to fund all these other nations, and irresponsible corporations that operate in the United States that lobby to have our politicians work against us. It's not our responsibility to fund that either. But I'd rather fund a family that fell on hard times. I'd rather my funding go to that than, let's say, sending whole fleets of battleships to Venezuela. You know how much it costs to operate for that? You know the operating cost of having that fleet off the coast of Venezuela and mobilizing all this military might down there? You know how much money that costs? Is it our responsibility to blow up tiny boats in the Caribbean? Help me understand this. I'd rather my money, if y'all gonna take my money, if you're gonna extort me and put it somewhere, I'd rather you put it to people that fell on hard times, whether they have 6 kids or not. So that's where I'm at with it. But anyway, thank you guys for coming through. Much love, like, share, subscribe. We're gonna holler at y'all later. Yes, Carolyn, government handouts to Israel and China and Syria, wherever, but resources here for Americans go out the door every day. Yeah. And we just sit back and accept it. Oh, I don't want to give handouts to these peoples. Oh, I'm not. Oh, no handouts. No handouts, but you ain't saying shit about the handouts going to Israel and all these other countries. Anyway, it is what it is. I'll holler about that later. I will be talking about Snap. Oh, yeah. We'll be getting into Snap a little bit later. But anyway, much love. Like, share, subscribe. And guess what we gonna do? Spring Cypress Forest says you don't know where some of our... I know where a lot of the technology comes from. I know where a lot of it comes from. I'm in the space, y'all. I'm in the space. Anyway, holla at y'all later. Much love. Like, share, subscribe. And guess what we gonna do, y'all? Keep marching forward towards freedom and truth. Peace. I know it's not China, but peace.